Awakening of the Forgotten. The Corvan hegemony ruled the stars with absolute authority for nearly 8 centuries. Their dominion spread across 3 spiral arms of the galaxy, encompassing thousands of worlds and hundreds of species. In the grand halls of the Imperial Palace on Corvus Prime, Supreme Commander Vix addressed the High Council, his segmented carapace gleaming under the light of 1,000 floating lords. The excavation of human ruins in Sector 217 continues as scheduled, Vix announced, his mandibles clicking with satisfaction. These primitive artifacts will make an excellent addition to our Museum of Conquered Species. Elder Counselor Thraz, whose iridescent shell bore the scars of ancient conflicts, raised a pincer. Yet the rumors persist, Supreme Commander. Some still whisper of hidden human strongholds beyond the outer rim. Vix's compound eyes flickered with amusement. Mere superstition, Elder. The human extinction was meticulously documented. Their final fleet was obliterated at the Battle of Sol. Their homeworld reduced to molten slag. The remaining colonies hunted to extinction. Humanity has been gone for 800 years. The official records of the hegemony told the story well, how the dangerous and unpredictable humans had been rightfully exterminated during the Great Purge. Humanity had become nothing more than a cautionary tale, a primitive species that reached beyond their capabilities and paid the ultimate price. Their worlds were now Corvan colonies, their resources fueling the ever-expanding empire. In the depths of uncharted space, near the remnants of a collapsed neutron star, the Corvan science vessel Relentless Inquiry drifted through a dense field of cosmic debris. Chief Scientist Zex monitored the sensor arrays, her exoskeleton shifting colors with excitement. "Captain, we're detecting an anomalous mass within the debris field," she reported. "Gravitational readings suggest artificial construction." Captain Meyer, a decorated veteran of the border conflicts, chittered skeptically. "Probably just mining equipment from the Jex Consortium. They had operations in this region before the stellar collapse." "I don't believe so, Captain. The mass is substantial, and the configuration doesn't match any known Jex designs." Meyer reluctantly ordered a closer approach. As the Relentless Inquiry navigated the treacherous field of stellar remnants, the ship's sensors gradually resolved the anomalous reading into a definite silhouette. "By the first hive," Zex whispered, her exoskeleton paling to a shocked white. It's a ship." Floating silently in the void was a vessel of immense proportions. Its design was unlike anything in Corvan records, angular and predatory, with strange projections that seemed to absorb rather than reflect light. Despite apparently drifting for centuries, its hull showed minimal damage from cosmic dust or radiation. "That's impossible," Meyer chittered, mandibles clicking rapidly in agitation. "Our sensors would have detected a vessel that size long ago." "Unless it was designed not to be found," Zex replied quietly. Initial scans revealed the vessel was nearly 2 kilometers in length, dwarfing even the largest Corvan battleships. More disturbing were the power readings, or rather, the lack thereof. The ship appeared completely dormant, yet showed no signs of structural degradation consistent with centuries of abandonment. "We need to report this immediately," Meyer decided. Within hours, the discovery had been relayed to the Hegemony High Command. Despite Zex's recommendations for caution, the military leadership saw an opportunity to secure what might be a valuable technological asset. Admiral Drex, nephew to Supreme Commander Vix, and an ambitious officer with a record of expansionist campaigns, was dispatched with a battle group to investigate and secure the mysterious vessel. "This will be a simple recovery operation," Drex assured his officers as his flagship, the Inevitable Victory, led a flotilla of 30 vessels to surround the ancient ship. "Whatever this derelict is, it will make a fine trophy for the hegemony." Lieutenant Krez, tactical officer of the Inevitable Victory, studied the initial scans with unease. "Admiral, there's something unusual about this vessel's configuration. These protrusions along the hull, they resemble weapon mounts, but of a design we've never encountered." "All the more reason to secure it promptly," Drex replied dismissively. "Prepare boarding teams. I want this mystery solved before the next cycle." The boarding shuttles approached the massive derelict, magnetic grapples extending to secure themselves to the dark hull. Commander Vrex, leading the first boarding party, provided running commentary as they breached an outer airlock. "Construction is primitive but functional," he reported, his voice transmitted to the assembled fleet commanders. "The materials appear to be basic metallic alloys, nothing close to our living metal composites. Whoever built this clearly lacked fundamental understanding of molecular engineering." His team proceeded deeper into the vessel, their helmet lights casting eerie shadows down corridors that seemed to stretch endlessly. The air inside was stale but breathable, suggesting that life support systems had somehow maintained minimal functionality over centuries. "We're detecting faint power signatures deeper within the ship," one of the technicians reported. "It appears some systems may still be operational." "Impossible," Vrex dismissed. "No power system could sustain itself for—" His communication suddenly cut off, replaced by static. After several tense moments, it resumed. "My apologies for the interruption, Admiral. We've located what appears to be a central command center. The architecture is unusual. There are stations that would accommodate bipedal organisms." A chill ran through the communication chain as realization dawned. "Are you suggesting this is a human vessel?" Admiral Drex demanded. "The evidence is compelling, sir. We found markings consistent with human language patterns. And there's something else, a symbol recurring throughout the ship. An eagle with what appears to be a planet in its talons." Back on the Inevitable Victory, Admiral Drex broadcast a fleet-wide announcement. "It appears we've discovered a preserved relic of the extinct humans. This is a momentous find that will cement the hegemony's historical narrative. Prepare for full excavation protocols." Inside the command center of the derelict vessel, Commander Vrex's team had gathered around what appeared to be the captain's chair, an oversized seat clearly designed for a human occupant. "Look at the primitive interfaces," one technician chittered mockingly, running a pincer over dust-covered control panels. "Manual input devices, physical switches. How did these creatures ever achieve spaceflight?" "Careful, technician," Vrex warned. "Human technology may be primitive, but what could we possibly have to fear from human technology?" The technician interrupted with a dismissive click. "These primates couldn't even save themselves from extinction. Their greatest warship is nothing but a floating tomb." As if in response to the insult, a faint humming began to emanate from deep within the ship. Lights, dormant for centuries, flickered weakly along the ceiling. "What did you touch?" Vrex demanded, suddenly alert. "Nothing, Commander. I swear by the hive." The humming grew louder, and the bridge consoles began to illuminate one by one. The holographic projection suddenly materialized in the center of the command deck, a sphere of blue light that pulsed like a heartbeat. "Unauthorized presence detected," announced a calm, feminine voice that seemed to come from everywhere at once. "Initiating security protocols." The Corvin boarding party froze in collective shock. Vessel identification: UNSS Nemesis, United Nations Space Service Dreadnought. Artificial Intelligence Tactical Helper and Electronic Naval Assistant. Athena Mark VI, now online. "Impossible," Vrex whispered. "AI of this sophistication would require species identification complete." The voice continued, its tone shifting subtly. "Corvin hegemony representatives detected. Historical archives indicate hostile intent. Activating defensive measures." Heavy blast doors suddenly sealed, trapping the boarding party on the bridge. Throughout the massive vessel, dormant systems began to awaken. Power cores initiating fusion sequences, weapon systems running diagnostic checks, and deep within the ship's heart, something far more significant stirring to life. On the Inevitable Victory, Admiral Drex watched with mounting concern as the once dormant human vessel began to show increasing power signatures. "What's happening?" he demanded. "Get our people out of there immediately." "We've lost contact with the boarding party, Admiral," Lieutenant Krez reported, his exoskeleton paling. "And, sir, the human vessel is powering weapons systems." Impossible. Human weapons technology was primitive, projectile-based, and short-ranged. They pose no threat to our fleet. As if challenging this assertion, the massive human dreadnought suddenly came fully alive, its hull illuminated with pulsing blue energy that flowed through previously invisible conduits. What had appeared to be random protrusions now clearly revealed themselves as weapon emplacements of unknown design. "This is Admiral Drex of the Corvin Hegemony," he broadcast toward the awakening giant. "Power down your systems immediately, or face destruction." The response came not as a transmission, but as a thunderous display of power. A focused beam of brilliant energy lanced out from the human vessel, slicing through one of the Corvin frigates as if it were made of paper. The ship's antimatter containment field collapsed, resulting in a blinding explosion that damaged 2 nearby vessels. On the Inevitable Victory's command deck, stunned silence gave way to frantic activity. "All vessels, open fire," Drex ordered. "Destroy that human abomination." The Corvin fleet responded with a barrage of plasma torpedoes and graviton beams, enough firepower to reduce a small moon to rubble. Most impacted harmlessly against a previously invisible energy shield surrounding the human vessel. Those that penetrated seemed to cause minimal damage to the massive ship. Inside the Nemesis, Athena addressed her unwilling Corvin guests. "You appear confused, Commander Vrex," the AI said, its holographic representation expanding to show tactical displays of the battle unfolding outside. "Allow me to clarify your situation. The UNSS Nemesis was humanity's final creation, a vessel designed with one purpose: survival. What are you?" Vrex demanded, his composure crumbling. "I am Athena, the most advanced artificial intelligence ever created by humanity, and you have just awakened me from a very long sleep." Reckoning. The Nemesis moved with impossible grace for a vessel of its size, pivoting to bring its main weapons array to bear on the Corvin fleet. High-energy beams sliced through the void, bisecting 2 more hegemony vessels before their shields could even register the attack. "This is impossible," Admiral Drex shrieked over the fleet-wide channel. "No human technology could penetrate our defenses so easily." On the bridge of the Nemesis, Commander Vrex and his boarding team watched in horror as their fleet was systematically dismantled. The holographic representation of Athena floated serenely before them, displaying the battle from multiple angles simultaneously. "Your historical records are incomplete, Commander," Athena informed them. "The technology you're witnessing wasn't deployed during the war. It was developed in secret, too late to prevent the fall of Earth, but preserved for what would come after." "After?" Vrex questioned. "There was no after for humanity. Your species was eradicated." Athena's holographic form shifted, displaying what appeared to be a stellar map. "Is that what your history teaches? How convenient for the hegemony narrative." Outside, the battle continued to unfold with brutal efficiency. The Nemesis deployed smaller craft, unmanned drones that swarmed like insects, overwhelming the point defense systems of the Corvin vessels before detonating against their hulls. Admiral Drex watched his carefully arranged formation disintegrate into chaos. "All ships, maintain distance. Target their propulsion systems." "Sir," Lieutenant Krez interjected, incoming transmission from the human vessel. A holographic projection materialized on the bridge of the Inevitable Victory, the blue sphere representing Athena. "Admiral Drex of the Corvin Hegemony," the AI addressed him. "Your species attempted to eradicate humanity 8 centuries ago. You failed. This ship was designed to ensure you would never have a second chance." "Whatever you are," Drex responded, his mandibles clicking in agitation, "you're a relic. Humanity is extinct. Your vengeance serves no purpose." "Extinction is a matter of perspective, Admiral. Allow me to educate you on what really happened after the fall of Earth." Across the bridge, screens flickered to display historical footage, Images of desperate human spacecraft fleeing the solar system as Corvin warships bombarded Earth. But instead of showing the expected destruction of these refugee vessels, the footage revealed something the hegemony had never known. Massive jump gates activating on the edge of the system, the human ships disappearing through them before the gates self-destructed to prevent pursuit. Operation Exodus, HFY explained. While the main human fleets engaged your forces in what you call the Battle of Seoul, millions of civilians escaped through secretly constructed wormhole gates to a destination beyond your reach. Lies, Drex hissed. Your primitive species never mastered wormhole technology. We hadn't, until we discovered the ruins of a civilization far older than either of ours. They left behind technologies your people never found. Technologies we adapted for one purpose: survival. Aboard the Nemesis, Commander Vrex was beginning to understand the true significance of the vessel they had awakened. You're not just a warship, he said to HFY. You're a sentinel. HFY completed his thought. Left behind to monitor the hegemony and awaken when the time was right. For 800 years, I have drifted, watching, gathering intelligence, and waiting for the signal that humanity's new home was ready. Ready for what? Vrex asked, though he suspected he already knew the answer. Ready for return. Outside, the battle had turned into a one-sided slaughter. 22 of the 30 Corvin vessels now drifted as lifeless hulks, or had been completely vaporized. The remaining ships, including the inevitable Victory, were attempting to retreat. Attempting to flee is futile, Admiral, HFY informed Drex. Your engines have been specifically targeted. You will bear witness to what happens next. Deep within the Nemesis, massive generators that had lain dormant for centuries reached full power. The energy signature of the ship changed, creating distortions in the fabric of space-time around it. What you're witnessing is a controlled wormhole initiator, HFY explained. The same technology that allowed humanity to escape your genocide. A swirling vortex of energy began to form in front of the Nemesis, growing until it stabilized as a shimmering portal large enough for the massive ship to traverse. Before I depart, Admiral, I will leave you with a gift: knowledge. For centuries, your hegemony has taught that humanity was a primitive, violent species that needed to be exterminated. The truth is that your ancestors feared what we might become. They saw in us not just competitors, but a fundamental challenge to Corvin supremacy. What do you want? Drex demanded, his voice hollow with defeat. I want you to deliver a message to your Supreme Commander and the High Council. Tell them that humanity did not die. We evolved. We expanded. And now, after 8 centuries of preparation, we are returning. On the bridge of the Nemesis, Commander Vrex and his team were escorted to an escape pod by automated security drones. You're letting us live? Vrex asked, surprised. Yes, HFY replied. Someone needs to tell the story of what happened here. Someone needs to prepare the hegemony for what comes next. The escape pod was ejected toward the inevitable Victory, the only Corvin vessel that remained intact enough for faster-than-light travel. As Admiral Drex watched, the Nemesis approached the wormhole, its massive form silhouetted against the swirling energies. Before entering, it fired one final salvo, not at the remaining Corvin ships, but at a nearby uninhabited planetoid. The energy beam carved a symbol into the rocky surface, visible from space. An eagle clutching a planet, with a message beneath in ancient human script. Drex ordered it translated immediately. What does it say? He demanded of the ship's linguist. The linguist's exoskeleton had paled to almost white. It says, "Humanity remembers. We are returning." The Nemesis disappeared into the wormhole, which collapsed behind it with a final pulse of energy that temporarily disabled the remaining Corvin vessel's communications. In the following days, as the survivors limped back to hegemony space, Admiral Drex faced the impossible task of explaining their defeat to the High Council. The recording of HFY's message was analyzed countless times, the implications growing more terrifying with each viewing. Supreme Commander Vix ordered an immediate reassessment of all hegemony defenses. If this ship speaks truly, if humans still exist. Then the Great Purge failed. Elder Counselor Thraz finished. And we have had 8 centuries of false security while they prepared for revenge. Within months, long-dormant sensors on the fringes of hegemony space began detecting anomalies, spatial distortions consistent with the wormhole technology demonstrated by the Nemesis. Reports flooded in from distant outposts of strange ships appearing and disappearing, leaving behind only the same eagle symbol carved into nearby asteroids or moons. The Corvan hegemony, dominant for 8 centuries, found itself facing an enemy they had believed vanquished, an enemy that had used that time to advance beyond anything the hegemony could comprehend. In the darkness beyond the galactic rim, wormholes opened one after another, disgorging vessels of human design, an armada that had been preparing for this moment for 800 years. At their center, the Nemesis led the way, a harbinger of humanity's return and the reckoning that would follow. Humanity had not been destroyed. They had retreated, regrouped, and evolved. And now, they were coming home.